Hello. Hello. Is that Sila? Can you please confirm if I'm audible and if my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Screen cannot be seen.
Oh, okay, okay. Just a second. Okay, I hope the screen is visible now. Can you please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So let's just wait for another 2 minutes or so. Let's just wait for another 2 minutes. Let's see if people are joining, and then we'll start. Okay. Okay, so it's 7. I guess we can start now. So, hi everyone. Good evening. Uh, this week, this is the third consecutive week we are having this session, the live session, right? So, just a second. Admit. Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. So, this is the third week we'll be having a session, the live session. So, this week we studied about uh, the demand side interventions and the supply side interventions in bridging the gap between the affordability and the price of housing, right? So that's what we studied this year in this week's class. So we'll straight away be moving on to the questions that we did for the assignment. Fine. I hope my screen is visible to all of you and I'm audible as well.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So the first question that we had was, which of the following is not a vertical in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana 2022? Now this question, it could really be solved simply by logic. See, it's very obvious that since it is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, so it has got something to do with housing, right? So the first one, in situ slum redevelopment, it has got something to do with housing. It checks the box. The second one is affordable housing through credit-linked subsidy. Again, it says housing, so it also checks the box. The fourth one also, the subsidy for beneficiary-led housing, checks that box. So we obviously have the third one, which is basic services for urban poor, that does not fit into this criteria. So even by logic, we could have said that this is the option that is the correct option for this question, right? So still, let's go into the details of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, a small recap for what we studied this week. So the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is a kind of a successor to the Rajiv Awas Yojana and Indira Awas Yojana, it has four major components. The first component is its in situ slum redevelopment. The second one is credit linked subsidy scheme. The third one, affordable housing in partnership. And the fourth one is beneficiary led construction. These are some of the basic features of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which aimed at giving housing for all by 2022. So as we can see from these verticals, we have in situ slum redevelopment and credit linked subsidy scheme as well as beneficiary led construction in our options. So these three are obviously there in the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and the third one, which was basic services for urban poor, is not a vertical of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Now let's see what basic services for urban poor actually is. It is a submission of the JNNURM, which has now transferred into the Amrit mission, right? So the basic services for urban poor submission reforms driven, fast track planned development of identified cities with a focus on efficiency in urban infrastructure services, delivery mechanisms, community participation and accountability of urban local bodies towards citizens. So that was the basic services for urban poor submission, which was a part of JNNURM and not of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Moving on to the next question, PMAY-U covers dash numbers of statutory towns. So again, this was something that you had to learn. So it says that 4041 statutory towns are covered under as per the census 2011 with focus on 500 class 1 cities, and these were dealt in three different phases. The first phase was from April 2015 to March 2017, under which 100 cities were covered. The next phase was from April 2017 to March 2019, under which 200 additional cities were covered, and all the remaining cities were to be covered in the third phase, which was from April 2019 to March 2022. So this is the current progress of the mission. This has been sourced from the PMAY website. It is recent data. We can check it from the link that has been provided here. Now moving on to the answer of this question, it's 4041 as discussed earlier. Now the third question, which of the following financial institutions deal with the microfinance in rural and urban areas? So in this week's classes, in this week's sessions, we also studied about different financing institutions, which are, in a way, they add to the demand side intervention, right? So the basic purpose of these financial institutions is to increase the affordability of the people so that the gap between the affordability and the pricing could be minimized. So these housing finance institutions, basically they provide housing loans to the people so that they can buy houses. So out of these four, HUDCO, Bandhan, HDFC Bank and PNB, we were supposed to mark that institute which dealt with microfinance in rural and urban areas. So now these the microfinance institution in the rural and informal sector, out of the four options, was Bandhan Bank. So that was our correct answer. The fourth question inquired about the the abbreviation NPA. We had to mark the full form of NPA out of the four options that were given to us. So now what is an NPA? NPA actually stands for non-performing assets. So whenever we go for a loan, whenever we go for procuring a loan from an institution, so the property against which we acquire the loan, that becomes an asset for the financing institution, because when we start giving out the payments or the installments of the loan, we pay a certain amount of interest, right? So that interest acts as a source of income for the financing institutions. So as long as we keep on paying that interest through those installments, they keep on earning income from that asset, from that property against which we acquired the loan, right? But in case we stop paying our, in case we stop paying our paying back our loans or the installments of our loans, then the asset or the property against which we sought the loan, that becomes an asset which is not performing for the bank. It's not paying back to the bank or to the financing institution. So that has been termed as the non-performing asset. So that's what we were required to answer here. The second option, which was non-performing assets, was the right answer for this question. The fifth question was subsidy amount for a single beneficiary in the beneficiary-led housing construction in PMAY 2022 is what? So we have already discussed this in the first question also. We have seen this, that central assistance up to rupees 1.5 lakh per EWS house is provided to eligible families belonging to EWS categories for individual house construction and enhancement. So the correct answer for this one was 1.5 lakhs. So now we have already studied about PMAY. So it would be beneficial for all of us if we go into the given links. These links will be added into the description when this video will be added to the YouTube or uploaded on YouTube. So it would be beneficial for all of us if we go into these links and we go through the guidelines of PMAY. So it's advisable for all. Now let's also discuss briefly about the technology submission under PMAY 2015, which was also discussed as a part of the lectures in this week. So what the technology submission under PMAY aims to do is, it aims to facilitate adoption of modern, innovative and green technologies and building materials for faster and quality construction of houses. It facilitates preparation and adoption of layout, designs and building plans suitable for various geoclimatic zones. It assists states, cities in deploying disaster-resistant and environment-friendly technologies. These are the four aspects of the technology submission. So this technology submission was a part of PMAY, as it was known that the obsolete technologies which are being used for housing construction right now, they often become the cause for delays, right? So any time lost is equivalent to money lost, right? So these delays would also cause overshooting of the budget, and hence that would reduce the affordability of housing for the people. So to counter that problem, the government, sanctioned this submission under PMAY, in which new technology was to be researched on, so that the housing construction process can be sped up and also it could be made even more affordable. So the four aspects under this submission included the design and planning aspect, the innovative technologies and materials aspect, the green buildings aspect, and the disaster resistant technologies and designs aspect. So this technology submission, it has never been included under any other schemes of the government, prior schemes of the government. It was for the first time introduced under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So those were the questions that we had, and a small recap of the technology submission. Now let's move on to any questions if we have from all of you. Yeah. So I hope the questions, we had only 5 questions in this assignment. I hope the questions were pretty simple and very straightforward also. Any doubts in the questions that we had?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So anything that you'd like to discuss about now? Any one of you? Okay. So since we have no further questions or discussions, shall we wrap up the session now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then very well. Happy Independence Day to all of you.
Same to you, sir. Same to you.
Happy Independence Day, sir.
Okay, bye bye.